Welcome back to MidPoint. From Sierra Leone, the executive director of Fambul Tok. He is on the ground at a place where there's been a long-running civil war in Sierra Leone. John Caulker joins us today. John, as we talk more and Americans try to understand about the Ebola virus and the American involvement, there is much discussion here in America that the military, members of the American military that have been sent to Africa are being put in harm's way, and we should not send them there. There are those who believe that the American military are the only people who have the logistics to be able to get it done. In your opinion, being there and seeing what is necessary and what has to be done, can you do it without someone like the American military helping?
I think it's a difficult question. I think the world is aware. We all know that America is a superpower and it's a world police. So to say we can do it without their support, it's almost impossible. Not necessarily the military, but technical support, the military resources, it's almost impossible.
With regard then to the world becoming involved, is it fair to say that now that you have 5 cases in your district, that they have all of a sudden popped up, in your opinion, that unless the world starts to motivate themselves to get more involved, and unless world money and world powers start to get involved here to try and shut this virus down, that without this help, it simply could become an even worse catastrophe than it is now?
I mean, you've just said it all, because it's really important for the world to know that Sierra Leone is part of the global village. And as we say, it's a global village. Whatever happens in Sierra Leone will have a ripple effect across the world. So, I mean, Fambul Tok is working in 6 districts in addition to Kwenadugu. And we have been going all around working with communities, mobilizing people to be actively involved in the fight against Ebola, washing of hands, paying attention to the hygiene, cooperating with government officials. However, it is not enough. We need the international support. The government of Sierra Leone needs every support it could muzzle at this particular point in time.
Well, fair to say the government of Sierra Leone, part of the problem is the long-running civil war there that simply put the government is not able to handle it either from a financial standpoint or from a coordination standpoint?
I mean, you're perfectly right. The war paralyzed all the institutions. All the institutions were actually non-functional. The healthcare system was almost non-functional. I mean, before the Ebola, Sierra Leone was rated right at the bottom 2 in terms of infant mortality rate. So we have been going through all the challenges. And what we said is the end of the conflict does not mean the war is over. We need support to sort of come up with an institutional reform framework for the health ministry, the justice sector, and all these important mechanisms. So certainly, the government of Sierra Leone cannot handle this because they don't have the resources, they don't have the manpower, they don't have the skills. This is very new to West Africa. Ebola is known for East or Central Africa, but now it's in West Africa and it's fairly new. We don't have the skill, we don't have the know-how. We depend heavily on the international community, including WHO, to support us. We just cannot do it on our own. We need support.
John, I've got about a minute and a half left. How helpless do you feel? And also, do you fear for your life?
Yes. I mean, I was talking to my colleagues that over the weekend, we lost one of our close colleagues, very close colleague in Kailau. And it hits you when you lost your close colleague. But this is happening on a daily basis. Yes, I fear for my life. I fear for the lives of my colleagues. But what can we do? We've committed our life to support communities, to work with communities, to accompany them. And we cannot just abandon them at this particular point in time. We need the support. And I am appealing to the US government and the people to say, don't just issue a travel ban. The world is a global village and the US is the global police. So you cannot abandon your community at a time when we need you most.
So to your side of things, and a travel ban from any region in Africa would be the wrong thing to do?
For Africa, I can understand because they don't have the healthcare infrastructure to handle things like Ebola. But the US, UK, Europe, they have all what it takes to address Ebola and defeat Ebola immediately, just as Nigeria has done, just as Senegal has done. But for them to talk of a travel ban, it's really scary. And I think it's like you just rejecting members of your community at a time when we need you most. Come help Sierra Leone and West Africa.
John, I have to tell you, it's a pleasure to get a chance to speak to you. It also is very commendable what you and your folks are doing there. The little place that you are in, Koinadugu, it is now unfortunately touched by Ebola. We wish you luck, we wish you help, and we also hope that very soon we will stay in touch and we'll be able to talk to you about a time when you're able to bring this disease under control. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, later on this hour, putting a name to the producer of perhaps the most fraud-filled TV commercial of this midterm election cycle, and it has to do with Ebola. And after the break, the president's problem with his party and Rick Perry's problem with Ebola. That and much more coming up right here on MidPoint.